The strange attack on flight 103. Yes. I love fern videos. Yes.
In a few seconds, a bomb will explode here.
What?
Right now.
Yo!
Everyone on board will die. On the ground, many more will die with them. Debris will rain from the sky, tearing through the small Scottish town of Lockerbie. In the months that follow, thousands will comb the area for clues. Police officers, soldiers, volunteers.
Wait, it just randomly exploded? What?
This search will become one of the largest crime scenes in history. This is no accident. It's a terrorist attack.
Oh.
And it will trigger one of the largest and most complex investigations of all time. The case will span continents, and nearly 40 years later, it will remain unresolved. This is the story of one of the deadliest plane crashes in history.
The Scottish countryside is...
Is this the deadliest plane crash in history? Wouldn't it be, oh, one off. Okay, one off. Okay, I thought he said like the, and I was like, well, I want to say the.
About to become the largest crime scene in the world.
The magnitude of that crash never really hit home to most people in the United States.
The investigation was never formally closed.
It's certainly Britain's worst ever air disaster.
The questions about Lockerbie
Oh, it was in Britain!
he
I
just
thought it was in the
refused
US.
to go away.
It was Britain's like airplane?
The Pan Am 103 Lockerbie Legacy Foundation has collected
Oh, it's in Scotland. I thought it was in the USA.
interviews with eyewitnesses and victims' relatives. Shona Black Harkness is one of them.
Why Lockerbie? Why this wee town? Why was I there?
It's just days before Christmas in Lockerbie, a small Scottish town of about 3,000 people. Just before 7 p.m., Shona rings a doorbell. She's with her younger sister and her niece, carrying Christmas presents for their friend Diane. Diane
Okay.
welcomes them inside.
You know what it is? It's so hard to like sometimes put in the information when I don't see subtitles. My bad.
Suddenly, the house starts shaking. Shona and Diane assume it's a passing train, but it's actually the first signs of a massive explosion.
And then the next
Oh
thing
my
we felt as
God.
if the windows from the kitchen got blown through. Flames started coming through the fire. So we crawled into a corner with the two young kids. We kind of curled up to hide the kids.
The children are screaming, but they all stay put until the shaking stops.
And
When the
then-
noise fades, Shona and Diane check on the children. Then Shona steps outside. All she sees is devastation scattered across the ground. Aircraft parts, suitcases, passports. The body of a young woman lying on her side.
She was beautiful. There was only one mark, as I said, down her face there. Her hair, spiked, wasn't out of place. Her clothing wasn't damaged.
The people of Lockerbie slowly begin to understand what happened. A plane has fallen from the sky. That night, the first images appear on TV.
Rescue teams from all over Britain are heading for the scene of what looks to be Britain's worst air crash tonight. Just after 7 this evening, a jumbo jet crashed onto the town of Lockerbie in the Scottish borders.
Witnesses describe a gigantic fireball, a blinding flash that looked almost like a nuclear explosion. Burning debris raining from the sky, wrecking houses.
Some houses on the south side of Lockerbie reportedly all but disappeared.
The scale of the destruction becomes clear the next day. Entire neighborhoods lie in ruins. At the center of it all is a massive crater. It's about
Oh man, that's so sad. Did anybody get hurt from the impact of the airplane? Like literally like being exploded and falling debris and stuff?
50 meters long and over 10 meters deep.
Yes?
This is where the wings and part of the fuselage came down. The nose was torn from the plane, but it remains largely intact. Even the writing on the side is still legible. Images of it quickly spread in the media. 11 residents of Lockerbie are dead. All 259 people aboard the plane were
Damn! How many? 11!
killed. Most were Americans traveling home for Christmas. As the town mourns, questions emerge. The plane didn't transmit a distress call, and witnesses report that it exploded in
Well, how will they have a distress call if like it was an immediate bomb? That would make sense though, no?
midair before impact.
When I was sitting with my aunt, a thing like an enormous mushroom fireball whizzed
Oh,
past the
they
window,
didn't
and
know
all I
that
could
yet.
think of was getting her
Okay.
out.
All of this could mean a technical failure, but another theory quickly takes hold.
It's possible it was a bomb.
A massive salvage operation begins. For
Oh
months,
my god, have you guys been to the airport recently? Have you seen the new machines where you don't have to like remove anything anymore for your bags or something? They can just like scan your bags like 360 or some bullshit. Oh my god.
police officers, soldiers, and even investigators from the US search the area around Lockerbie. Thousands of volunteers help. A helicopter circles over them.
Is it all new? I swear it's new. At least like for me it's new.
The instructions are clear. If it's not a rock and it's not growing, pick it up and put it in a bag.
Because usually you have to like remove your stuff from your bag and stuff, like your what do you have to do? Like your electronics, your iPad or whatever, your laptop. You always have to like remove it from your bag. Yeah, you have to remove your laptop usually in your bag and whatever. No, that's not only in the Philippines. That happened in the UK. That happened in like every single fucking country until 2 months ago or something, or like 3 months ago.
The debris is scattered across
Yeah,
more
the
than
separate tray.
2,000 square kilometers. Search teams recover wreckage as far away as England's North Sea coast. Over the course of a year, investigators cover 2.4 million.
I didn't say that this is for 1988. I'm saying for now, today. It's new in Heathrow. Yeah, no, for sure. It's cool as not to need to like do anything and just like put your bag and that's it, and you just walk out.
Kilometers, take 35,000 photographs, and collect about 16,000 items of property. An FBI agent calls it the largest crime scene in history. A few days into the search, investigators find a crucial piece of evidence: this metal rail. It's
The metal rail.
heavily deformed, partially perforated, and covered in burn marks. It looks like it was part of a baggage container. Shortly after, they recover a fragment of a similar rail. The two pieces were part of the same metal framework. A forensic team finds traces of explosive residue. A week later, the investigators speak to the press.
The explosives residues recovered from the debris have been positively identified and are consistent with the use of a high-performance plastic explosive.
It was definitely a bomb. Someone brought down Pan Am Flight 103.
God, that's crazy.
A week after the crash, the case becomes a murder inquiry. One of the most exhaustive criminal investigations in history begins. The investigation requires cooperation between multiple countries and authorities, particularly the Scottish police and the FBI. The case is a gigantic puzzle, and investigators treat it as such. Every recovered piece of wreckage is brought to the Royal Air Force's ammunition depot, about 28 kilometers from Lockerbie. Investigators carefully arrange the fragments on the floor. Manufacturing details like serial numbers help them determine where each piece belongs. The puzzle eventually becomes so big that investigators use bicycles to move around. They know the blast originated in the aircraft's forward cargo hold. It carried 12 cargo containers and 2 pallets. Only 2 were damaged by the explosion. Further analysis shows that the blast came from inside this container, which held passenger luggage. Investigators also recover a 20-centimeter fragment of a brown suitcase, a Samsonite Silhouette 4000.
Sus.
The bomb was most likely hidden inside it. The FBI tries to trace the suitcase to its owner, but Pan Am's luggage records are messy and inaccurate.
Do they not have security cams in 1988?
The investigators grow frustrated. Then they
Are you fucking kidding me?
find another crucial piece of evidence: a circuit board fragment smaller than a fingernail.
Wait.
Investigators compare it to similar parts. They discovered that it was used in several models of Toshiba radios. This is extremely troubling. 2 months before the Pan Am bombing, German authorities intercepted a bomb. It was hidden inside a Toshiba radio that
I feel like in this day and age, I literally can't fathom how people used to fly personally. Like, I can't fathom treating an airport visit or like wanting to go on a flight as a like bus ride. You know what I mean? I can't imagine that. Oh, guys, Wait, did I say you people? What do you mean? What did I mean by that? Anyway, but you know what I mean? I can't imagine that. I can't imagine how other people back in the day was like, oh yeah, let's go to the flight. Easy peasy. Let's bring one bag and who cares? And my fucking snacks and whatever. Isn't that crazy? And they could smoke in the fucking flight. They treat it as a bus ride. Yo. They probably didn't even have seatbelts. They don't even give a shit.
Belonged to a Palestinian terrorist group. These findings indicate that the bomb aboard Pan Am Flight 103 was also hidden inside a radio. Investigators want answers. Months after the crash, they move all of the wreckage to Farnborough, England. This is where the Air Accidents Investigation Branch has their headquarters. Piece by piece, they reassemble a 20-meter section of the aircraft's fuselage.
Oh yeah, back in the day as well, they would like give you full, absolute meals. Don't forget. Back in the day, they would actually give you a genuine good-ass meal. And then, I don't know.
This time as a three-dimensional model. The combined clues help investigators understand how such a small bomb could bring down an entire aircraft. It's late afternoon. An aircraft is parked on a stand southeast of Terminal 3.
How would a bomb sap an entire aircraft? I don't know, because there's a gigantic fucking hole in the plane? What?
It's a Boeing 747 operated by Pan Am. The airline was the first to order the iconic jumbo jet in the late 60s. For decades, it was the United States' leading international airline, known for the infamous Pan Am smile.
Oh my god, I just watched a movie about Pan Am. Oh my god. The way that they rose into, like, the way that they, like, fuck. I wish I was good at speaking so I could explain this really well. But I watched a movie about how flights and stuff really like took off in the USA for public transpo and stuff like that. And they were absolutely using the US government so that they can become the number one superiority, like, you know, kind of number one flight person, whatever. No, it was not Catch Me If You Can. It was something else. Isn't that so interesting? How they practically remove their competition with laws?
Point. The company is in serious financial trouble. The plane preparing for departure has been in service for 18 years.
It's un-American!
Its name is visible on the fuselage. Clipper made of the seas. At the same time, 109 passengers arrived from Frankfurt, Germany. Pan Am Flight 103 is scheduled to take some of them onward to New York City and Detroit.
Back in the day, it was un-American.
Another 194 passengers will board at Heathrow. The luggage from Frankfurt is transferred to the aircraft. Everything follows standard procedure. The crew assumes the bags were properly screened in Frankfurt, so there are no additional checks.
What do you mean, no, it wasn't? What do you mean? USA used to be the land of the fucking place where you wanted your opportunities to exist because it was literally the land of, like, opportunities. What are we talking about? Yeah, it was. And then later on, they become, like, you know, it is what it is, but, like, it was. Still is. Debatable. That's the reason why the American dream was a literal thing. What are we talking about? Bought the propaganda? What? There's a reason why people pay more premium prices for sponsors when it comes to America than any other country.
Among the bags is this unremarkable brown Samsonite suitcase. It's placed in a container and loaded into the forward cargo hold. At 6:04 p.m., all 243 passengers are seated, and the plane taxis onto the runway. 21 minutes later, Pan Am Flight 103 takes off on its transatlantic journey. Captain James McQuarrie gently guides the jumbo jet through the heavy clouds. As a seasoned pilot, he knows how to handle the strong winds that are blowing that evening. At 6:56 p.m., the aircraft reaches an altitude of roughly 9,400 meters. It's approaching the Scottish border.
I wonder what made the people who wanted to bomb this flight pick this specific flight.
Apart from the 3 men in the cockpit, there are 13 cabin crew members on board. They're already serving drinks and handing out headphones. At 6:58 p.m., First Officer Ray Wagner radios in with their current position. At 7:02 p.m., the Clipper mate of the...
Oh my god! Stop fucking... I don't give a fuck if you hate America. I don't care! Shut the fuck up! My god! Y'all are so fucking annoying. Y'all are completely ignoring the facts of in the back of the day or some just because you hate America right now. I don't give a fuck what America is right now. We're talking about the past. We're talking about the history. Whoa, we're just gonna deny what it was before? Oh my god!
Seas is cleared to cross the Atlantic.
God, just say that you're like, I don't know, fucking UK or some bullshit. Just say that you're British. I know where you're coming from. I get it.
Never will. The brown Samsonite suitcase is located right here. Inside it is a radio. Hidden in its casing are about 450 grams of explosives and a timer. Exactly 50 seconds after 7:02 p.m.
I can't. I'm actually getting rage baited. What do you mean? That was history. Okay, explain to me why literally America wasn't then a place where you could literally create your business, and literally the one place back in the 19 whatever the fuck. Why wasn't America that good? What was the history you're talking about? I can't prove something that didn't exist. Yet what?
That timer hits 0. To understand what exactly happens in the next few seconds, we asked our friends at Mentor Pilot for help.
The bomb blows a small hole in the cargo container as well as the plane's outer skin right here. And at the same time, it also tears through the main cabin floor above it. The explosion acts like a bubble of high-pressure gas, and it blisters the plane's skin right here. Some of the energy from the blast escapes through the hole into the air, but part of it also bounces around inside of the cargo container. The shockwave forces its way through the narrow space between the
I don't agree with you, Debbie, but I don't know shit about history, so I won't argue about the topic I'm ignorant on. That's literally the most basic response and honestly most normal response. Guys, there's a reason why a lot of people wanted to migrate to America back in the day. Bro, it was literally the land of opportunities back in the day because you could get a good-ass job, get a house for 10K, and literally like live your life not having to worry about bullshit. Unless, like back in the day, or like in versus other countries where shit was like absolutely fucked. Yeah, back in the day, America had like really good shit. For who, Demi? A lot of other countries wanted to move into the US.
Container and fuselage, and reflections and chemical reactions then create a second shockwave, which pushes the metal outwards, stretching and
Are we forgetting about the
skin
wars?
around the hole. The pressure then keeps moving through the gaps inside of the plane's structure, soon reaching both the top and the bottom of the fuselage. As it does so, it causes multiple further cracks, and under this stress, the hole grows larger and the metal starts folding back into a star-shaped pattern. The pressure also bounces around inside of cavities under the roof and along the bottom of the fuselage, and together, this builds up an overpressure that makes...
I miss those days. How old are you?
The front section of the plane start breaking apart more and more, until the upper and lower part of the hull is...
Isn't it crazy how a bomb like that wasn't even that big destroyed the entire plane just like that? That's so fucked. Well, I'm not surprised actually, but like still, it's like, it's so scary. Imagine being a passenger here and you just hear like a sudden boom! And then everything just crumbles apart.
More and more cabin floor beams are now disrupted, whilst cargo and bodies start falling out of the plane. At this point, only the tiny window area is connecting the nose part to the rest of the fuselage, meaning that the plane's structure is now extremely weak. And about 2 to 3 seconds after the explosion, this section here then breaks off, causing the entire front of the aircraft to start turning away to the right. The nose section now detaches and flings backwards, where it hits one of the engines, breaking the...
That's how it broke off? Oh my god! Yo!
...that off the wing. And without the front part to direct the airstream and balance it out, the rest of the plane now tilts upwards and rolls violently to the left. As the detached nose hurtles towards the ground, the rest of the plane keeps breaking up. The remaining engines comes off, and when the tail fin then detaches, the back section of the fuselage likely slides sideways and also separates.
I am literally about to take a flight next week, and I'm watching this.
The wings then also breaks apart at some point, although it's not clear exactly how.
This is probably the worst plane crash I've ever seen in my life. Of all the horror plane aircraft like fucking explosions or whatever, this is the worst one. I've never seen an aircraft literally crumble like this in, oh my god, no, that's so fucked.
multiple further cracks, and under this stress, the hole grows larger and the metal starts falling.
No, the two other, whatever you're talking about, this is honestly worse as a passenger. The other two, the one with the, like, in 9/11 or whatever, at least it's like an instant impact kind of thing, and then you're dead. You know what I mean? But this one, seeing the whole plane just crumble in front of you, like seeing, like, guys, where's the captain? And then you look at the window, and then the motherfucking captain is right there. Like, dude, are we dead ass?
Back into a star-shaped pattern. The pressure also bounces around.
Yo! The back tube breaks apart!
Fuselage.
Nah,
together,
bro, this is the
builds
worst
up an
one.
overpressure that makes the front section of the plane start breaking apart more and more until the upper and lower part of the hull is ripped apart.
Like a Final
More and
Destination
more
scene?
cabin floor
Yeah, oh my
beams are now
fuck, this is
disrupted whilst
insane.
Cargo and bodies start falling out of the plane. At this point, only the tiny window area is connecting the nose part to the rest of the fuselage, meaning that the plane's structure is now extremely weak. And about 2 to 3 seconds after the explosion, this section here then breaks off. Of course,
You know what is so crazy? That fucking comment actually genuinely pissed me off, like genuinely. You could have just said like, oh no, the US economy wasn't as good as you're saying it was. Like, there are so many ways to disprove what I'm fucking saying. Like, there were so many fucking ways. Oh, no, Demi, you're wrong because of this and that and this and this. What? And then saying it as as if it was just facts, period, with no explanation. Like, no, I can't explain it because... What?
the entire front of the aircraft to start turning away to the right. The nose section now detaches.
You're wrong,
and
Demi, I just can't explain
backwards,
why.
so it hits one of the engines, breaking that off the wing. And without the front part to direct the airstream and balance it out, the rest of the plane now tilts upwards and rolls violently to the left. As the detached nose hurdles towards
Why are all Filipinos obsessed with America? Bro, the only reason why I would even go to that country is to meet friends. What are you talking about? I don't want to move there. Nobody, like, oh my god, bro. I hate the way sometimes you guys argue. It's because like I say something and then you attack me with some different thing because you can't argue with my argument or something. God, every time I say something in Twitter, they do that. It's the same thing. Literally, you can't argue with the comment that I'm saying. You literally just say that if I'm wrong, then say why. But you can't say why because what? Because that means you're just wrong.
the rest of the plane keeps breaking up.
Like, brother!
The remaining engines comes off, and when the tail fin then detaches, the back section of the fuselage likely slides sideways and also separates. The wings
Oh god, I need to
also
play
break
League
apart
today.
at some point, although it's not clear exactly how, but they soon tumble down towards Lockerbie. And when they hit the ground, they explode into a massive fireball and creates a big crater. Around this, more than a dozen houses loses their roof from the shockwave, and an 18-meter section of the fuselage now also crashes into a nearby street, scattering luggage and bodies across the road and into nearby gardens. In total, over 300
Holy shit, it went that far?
tons of debris, suitcases, cargo, and passengers falls down over the area, with the wind carrying some of the lighter debris as far away
That far? From the sky and it fall off in the same time? Like, what?
as the North Sea.
Whoa.
The nose section with the 3 bodies of the flight crew as well as some first-class passengers is then crushed completely flat as it impacts the ground on its left side about 4 kilometers to the east of Lockerbie.
270 people die that day, but maybe they didn't have to.
What?
Just weeks before the attack,
I mean, yeah, if you just caught the bomb beforehand, then it wouldn't have had to. You could say that with so many things. What do you mean?
the U.S. Embassy in Finland receives a phone call.
Finland!
It's a threat.
Oh.
The caller warns that within 2 weeks there will be a bombing on a Pan Am flight from Frankfurt.
Oh, so that's why people take bomb threats really that serious. Damn. Did you know that we had a bomb threat in our school multiple times? Jesus. Never knew who it came from.
To the U.S. The victims'
Was it you? No? No, that's illegal. I would never fucking do that.
families are outraged. Why wasn't the threat made public at the time? Then Vice President George H.W. Bush explains the decision on TV.
Sometimes by going public, you achieve, you give undue attention to what the terrorist wants to call attention to.
Oh, I mean, what? I feel like you should take it very seriously no matter what, though. I guess I get where he's coming from. I get it because, like, guys, you can't feed the trolls. Like, literally, the simplest way to say this is, like, you can't feed the trolls, right? Like, if you give them attention, they will come out more and more because, like, you're finally giving them the attention that they wanted. I get it. I've been there. Twitter, am I right? Yo, kick you to tier 1.
Going public, you achieve, you give...
Twitch chat, am I right? Yo, Jesus.
Undue attention to what the terrorist wants to call attention to.
What? What did you say? Could have watched this video 3 times already with how much you pause. How about you watch it alone then? Easy as f***.
In the first 24 hours after the bombing, 4 different groups claim responsibility for the attack. One is from Iran, another from Ireland. The list also includes the Palestinian terror cell whose bomb was intercepted in Germany. The CIA believes the Iranian group's claim is the most credible. Motive is believed to be revenge against the United States. About 6 months before Lockerbie, U.S. Navy forces shot down an Iranian passenger plane in the Persian Gulf. The U.S. military later claimed it had mistaken the aircraft for a fighter jet. 290 innocent people were killed. Despite numerous theories, progress on the Lockerbie case is slow. Leads point to several countries, but none pan out. The first real lead comes in 1989. Investigators re-examined shredded
1989, a whole year later?
Pieces of clothing from the crash site. Among them is a scrap of fabric from a pair
I'm sorry, I should not make those jokes.
Of pants. They're from a brand called Yorkie. The pants were in the same suitcase as the bomb. The fabric leads the investigators to a small clothing shop on the Mediterranean island of Malta.
Wait.
An officer speaks with the shop's owner, Tony Gauci.
Yo, they went that far into the investigation that they saw a pants and they went where it was from? What? Whoa! Nah, bro, they're better than me. I would have been like, well, those are pants.
Gauci remembers a very strange customer. A man walks into the shop. He buys everything Gauci shows him without hesitation and regardless of size. A baby onesie, a black umbrella, a wool jacket, and a pair of Yorkie trousers. Gauci is able to describe the man in detail, and the FBI sends a sketch artist to Malta to create a
How the f did he remember him? What?
composite drawing. Investigators interview Gauci several times and show him pictures of suspected terrorists. None of them resemble the man he saw in his shop. So the FBI sends additional agents to Malta.
Damn, how good of your memory is it if you're a shop owner or whatever and you're selling something and you remember the face that you sold like a year ago or 2 years ago? That's so crazy, bro. Dude, the guy had to be so fucking weird. The only time that you remember something like this specifically is when somebody is out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? Like sus. Like was absolutely like, all right.
Their job is to find out who entered and left the country around the time of the attack. For that, they have to comb through piles of immigration records by hand. More than a year after the bombing, investigators uncover another crucial piece of evidence in the debris. Once again, it's a circuit board fragment smaller than a fingernail.
One.
The explosion must have blasted it into the collar of a shirt that was also in the Samsonite suitcase. But it wasn't part of the Toshiba radio that held the bomb.
Is that not crazy to find that, by the way? I just realized, how the fuck did they find that chip? Did you see how small it was? To find that in the wreckage of like how many lengths of whatever? That's crazy.
Scottish investigators try to track where it came from. And with the CIA's help, they eventually find a lead.
It was in a shirt. Oh.
Months before the attack, 2 Libyan men were arrested in Senegal. They were carrying an electronic timer. It's the exact same model as the newly discovered circuit board. They also had 8 kilograms of explosives with them.
Well, that's for sure something.
The same type found in Lockerbie. Since the 1970s, Libya has been repeatedly linked to terror attacks around the world. The country's been in the list of suspects from the very beginning. And there's also a possible motive. On April 5, 1986, just before 2 a.m., a bomb explodes in West Berlin. The target is a nightclub known to be popular with U.S. soldiers. 3 people are killed and over 200 injured. Suspicion quickly falls on Libya and its leader Muammar Gaddafi. The attack appears to have been aimed directly at American citizens. It's most likely retaliation for the sinking of 2 Libyan ships by the U.S. just weeks earlier. The American response comes only days after the Berlin
Who is this guy again? What's his name? I literally forgot. I don't remember.
nightclub bombing.
My fellow Americans, at 7 o'clock this evening, Eastern Time, air and naval forces of the United States launched a series of strikes against the headquarters, terrorist facilities, and military assets that support Muammar Gaddafi's subversive activities.
President Ronald Reagan orders U.S. forces to bomb the Libyan cities of Tripoli and Benghazi. Though officially aimed at military targets, the bombing also kills civilians. According to Libyan state media, Gaddafi's adopted daughter is also among the victims.
Uh-oh.
Was the Lockerbie bombing another act of revenge ordered by Libyan ruler Muammar Gaddafi?
How topical.
The trail of the two Libyans arrested in Senegal soon goes cold. But the electronic timer they carried leads investigators to Switzerland, to a company called Mibo. Investigators confirmed that Mibo manufactured the timer linked to the circuit board fragment found at Lockerbie.
What the fuck?
They also learned the company sold multiple units of the same timer to the Libyan military. More and more, evidence points to Libya's involvement in the attack on Pan Am Flight 103. FBI investigators question Mibo's owners. They show them the composite drawing of the suspect from Malta. One of them claims to recognize the man. He says they did.
Oh my motherfucking god! No fucking way! Are we dead ass? No way! I think I had to be so fucking weird for that guy to remember him. What?
Business together and that he remembers his name. Abdel Basset Ali.
He remembers his name as
Al-Maghrabi,
well?
a former member of the Libyan intelligence service. Investigators obtain a picture of Maghrabi and show it to Tony Gauci in Malta. Gauci says that of all the images he's seen, this one most resembles the mysterious
No way.
customer. After years of painstaking work, investigators finally have a real suspect. And the net begins to tighten. Records place Maghrabi in Malta on December 7, 1988, the day of the suspicious purchase at Gauci's shop.
Right.
Baggage logs in Frankfurt also show an unaccompanied bag arriving from Malta, bound for Pan Am Flight 103 to New York.
An unaccompanied bag? How is it allowed? What? An unaccompanied bag? And it flew? Wow. That's that's crazy. This is before 9/11? I know, but that's still crazy even before 9/11, if I'm being honest.
Also learned that Maghrabi was more than just an intelligence officer. He served as head of security for a Libyan.
This is gonna be I was gonna say something, but I'm just saying it must have been crazy to be a serial killer back in the 19 whatever.
Airline. This would have allowed him to move freely around Malta airport without raising suspicion. He even used a fake passport to enter the island on the very morning of
That's probably the reason why you have the most classic serial killers back in those days too, honestly, that you genuinely still remember to this day. That's probably why. Because it's so hard to fucking track them before.
Was he the one who sent the suitcase with the bomb inside it from Malta to Pan Am Flight 103? Investigators followed.
Why are you saying? I did not say I missed out. When did I say that?
Another lead to an airport manager in Malta. Like Maghrabi, he appears to have links to Libyan intelligence. His name is Lamin Khalifa Fima. Immigration records place Maghrabi and Fima together on the day of the attack. Fima had access to official Air Malta baggage tags, making it relatively easy to slip a bag onto a flight bound for Frankfurt.
What?
Then comes a final, crucial piece of the puzzle. A witness. He says Fima stored explosives at Malta airport, and
a witness said Fima stored explosives at the Malta airport? A witness? Wait, sorry, why is this only being mentioned now? After a year or so? A witness? Why is his name only being mentioned now?
that he saw both suspects together the day before the bombing.
Oh, maybe it's because they finally got the names properly in their pictures as well, and et cetera, and now that the witness can really go yeah, no, this is what I remember. I remember this. I do remember these two individuals, and now that you've, you know what I mean?
With a large brown suitcase. Nearly 3 years after Lockerbie, investigators finally have two clear suspects. And soon, the world will know their names. On November 14, 1991, one of the largest police investigations in history leads to formal charges.
We charge that 2 Libyan officials, acting as operatives of the Libyan intelligence service, along with other co-conspirators, planted and detonated the bomb that destroyed Pan Am Flight 103.
Libyan intelligence officers Abdel Basset Ali al-Megrahi and Lamin Khalifa Fima are to stand trial. Both American and British prosecutors are convinced that Libya and its leader Muammar al-Gaddafi were also involved in the attack. The prosecutor also accuses Megrahi and Fima of being fugitives from justice. The US and the UK both want them extradited to stand trial, but Gaddafi refuses.
Wait, they can just refuse? What do you mean just refuse?
Responsibility and offers to try
stand
both
trial?
suspects in Libya instead.
Oh, okay.
Years pass. Negotiations stall. Suspects in Libya from justice. The US and the UK both want them extradited to stand trial, but Gaddafi refuses.
Oh, I see.
He denies any responsibility.
That's crazy that he refused that. That means, like, I don't know. Isn't it more sus that they refused? Isn't it more sus that they couldn't stand trial?
And offers to try both suspects in Libya instead. Years pass. Negotiations stall. Sanctions are imposed.
The negotiations! I'm kidding, sorry.
But nothing happens. 10 years after the bombing, Gaddafi finally agrees to a compromise. The two suspects will stand trial on neutral ground in the Netherlands.
After that long? Are we dead ass?
But under Scottish law. The trial takes place at Camp Zeist.
Are we dead ass 10 years later? We're...
US military base near Utrecht. It's temporarily declared Scottish territory.
11 years on and the tears are still flowing as the relatives of the victims of Lockerbie arrive, finally, for tomorrow's trial.
It's a trial unlike any other. Dozens of relatives travel to the Netherlands to face the men accused of killing 270 people. But some have doubts. Why are just two low-level operatives on trial when Libya's political leaders must have signed off on the attack?
I'm surprised it didn't start like something. I'm kind of surprised as all because I feel like wars have been started with way less reason than this. Am I crazy for that? Is that a crazy take?
Prosecutors say the two men hid the bomb inside a suitcase and flew to Malta the day before the attack. From there, they allegedly sent the suitcase as unaccompanied luggage to the United States via Frankfurt and London.
Crazy.
Megrahi and Fima plead not guilty.
Unaccompanied bomb, by the way. Like, don't even just call it a suitcase. There was just like an unaccompanied bomb in the airport. Like that. Yo!
The defense argues the bomb was planted by a Palestinian terrorist group. The trial drags on for months and more than 230 witnesses are called. Among them are airport staff, Lockerbie residents, another Libyan intelligence officer, and Tony Gauci, the Maltese shopkeeper. On January 31st, 2001, the Scottish judges deliver their final verdict. Megrahi, guilty. Fima, not guilty.
How? How so? Was there not enough evidence to bring him in?
Megrahi's conviction could have closed the case. Instead, it raises even more questions, especially for one man.
The truth is the truth, and sooner or later it'll come out. And I would like the death of my daughter to be associated with the idea of integrity in searching for the truth.
Dr. Jim Swire is a British physician. His daughter was killed in the Lockerbie bombing. He publicly doubts Megrahi's guilt. The court's reasoning doesn't convince him. A trial observer appointed by the UN claims the case made no sense. A Scottish law professor calls it satisfactory process, but a flawed result. Swire challenges several key pieces of evidence, most notably the credibility of shopkeeper Tony Gauci and the origin of the timer. It turns out that Gauci...
Yeah, right? Why are we not questioning the fact that the shop owners is so well to remember this? Like a random shop owner can draw the guy that bought something a year ago.
Was far less certain in identifying Megrahi than the court was led to believe. Police may even have offered a financial reward for his testimony. One of Nebo's owners later retracts his statements. He now claims the circuit board fragment found in Lockerbie did not come from a timer his company sold to Libya. The verdict makes little sense to the UN trial observer.
Information is starting to mismatch and starting to change.
Prosecutors had based their entire case on the assumption
FRM the grave, thank you so much for your prime.
that Fahima and Megrahi worked together to plant the bomb. So why did only one of them end up being convicted? In March 2002, an appeals court upholds Megrahi's conviction. He's sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 20 years. A year later, Libya formally accepts responsibility for the Lockerbie attack. The government agrees to pay $2.7 billion in compensation to the victims' families.
1.7 billion? Is it just like equal to 200 plus people? Damn, what a
Gaddafi's
username.
son later claims this was only done to lift international sanctions. But to the public, it's a confession. Jim Swire keeps pressing for a review of Megrahi's case. Scotland eventually agrees, but while the process is underway, Megrahi is diagnosed with terminal prostate cancer. With little time left to live, in 2009, he's released on compassionate grounds and allowed to return to Libya. Back home, he's welcomed as a hero. For many families of the Lockerbie victims, the images are unbearable.
They welcomed him back as a hero?
3 years later, Megrahi dies. In 2017, Megrahi's family files a posthumous appeal against the verdict. 4 years later, a Scottish court rejects it and upholds the conviction. Gaddafi himself died back in 2011 after rebels overthrew his regime. But the Lockerbie case refuses to go away.
Today marks 32 years since the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. And on this day, new charges have been filed against one of the alleged terrorists.
In 2020, another Libyan intelligence officer is charged. His name is Abu Aguila Massoud. He's accused of building the bomb, setting the timer, and sending the Samsonite suitcase on its way to Pan Am Flight 103. The U.S. Department of Justice claims he confessed to this when questioned at a Libyan detention facility in 2012.
Bro.
In early 2026, Massoud is brought before a U.S. court. He denies the allegations and claims he was forced into making a false confession by 3 masked men who threatened him and his family.
I honestly could believe him. Honestly. I could honestly believe that.
Into making a false confession by 3 masked men who threatened him and his family. The Libyan official who supposedly recorded Massoud's confession back in 2012 said the recording was lost. In early March 2025, new documents surface, once again implicating the former Libyan regime. To this day, 2 American victims associations strongly oppose Jim Swire and his belief in Megrahi's innocence.
God, this whole story smells bad from every single fucking country, to be honest.
They're also critical of a recent series starring Academy Award winner Colin Firth as Jim Swire. For the families of the victims, nearly 40 years have passed, shaped by grief, anger, and the search for answers. That search continues. And in the Lockerbie case, it may never truly end.
Damn. Oh, that's such a sad end. It's actually damn impressive they were able to piece together the debris and determine the original origin of the blast, even including the brand and model of the suitcase. Yeah, that shit is crazy. I'm actually related to Tony, the man who owned the clothing shop in Malta. He was a very quiet and unassuming man who used to raise pigeons in his spare time. The whole ordeal with the Lockerbie investigation and reward money tore the family apart. He also became a target after his involvement with the investigation and had to be put under protection by the Scotland Yard. He mentioned to us that the reason he remembered the encounter with the customer, even after all the time, was because the man bought a jacket that had been sitting in the shop for years that he never managed to sell. There was no reason to buy such a jacket in a hot country like Malta. Also, buying all those other random items, such as baby clothes, Lockerbie, it was such a terrible tragedy. I feel like, yeah, he must have been so fucking weird. That is something that you'd remember, honestly. I get him. That makes sense, to me at least. How did he know?
Now.
Yo.